It's all about the smoke and no flame. That's right, folks. We're doing a cold smoke today. So stick around. We'll see how this turns out together.
Hey folks, it's Anthony here. Welcome back to the kitchen. As you can see in front of me, we're going to be smoking some salmon today. Not only are we going to be smoking salmon, we're going to cold smoke the salmon. So we're going to need to put it into a mixture of salt and sugar and let it cure for the next 24 hours. After that, we'll throw it into the smoker for another 5, 6, or 8 hours, and then we'll be ready to eat. Can't wait to see how this turns out. All right, so here's our salmon. Now this is an Atlantic salmon that I bought. One of the best salmons that you can use for smoking is a sockeye salmon. We couldn't find that available, so we went with what we have. Now the first thing you want to do, I've already trimmed it so that it's nice and straight. Now we're going to run our fingers over top of the salmon just to make sure they got all of those pin bones out. And usually they do, there's a couple right here. So what you can do, a couple of things. You can get a pair of tweezers or needle pliers if you have them. I just happen to have a pair of tweezers. So we're just going to grab a hold of these bones and pull them out. So as you can see, they're not small bones. And I think I've got another one here that I can pull out. There it goes. Run it over again. Oh, one more. And I think that is that. So now we're ready to assemble the cure. Now the cure is a pretty simple thing. Basically, it is equal parts of a coarse, I like to use sea salt, so a coarse sea salt, and another equal part of sugar. Now a lot of people like to put brown sugar in it, and I've made Gravlax before, and I've always used brown sugar. This time I'm gonna go with some raw sugar. So what we're gonna do is take our cup. I have a cup of sugar and a cup of coarse sea salt, and I've also already added some freshly ground black pepper. You can just put this to taste. Let's just grab a spoon and we'll mix it up. Make sure it's mixed in well. You want to have an even distribution of the salt to sugar. As concerning salt, the last thing you want to use is regular table salt. The granules are way too fine, and you're just going to over salt your fish, or anything that you're curing for that matter. So we'll just make sure that this is all in here. And here we have a glass. Don't use metal, okay? Don't use aluminum, don't use a non-stick. It reacts poorly with the salt. So we've got a glass Pyrex casserole dish here, and we're just gonna put in a quick layer of that cure and try to get it into the general shape of the fillet of salmon or trout. You can even smoke trout. This would be fantastic with trout. So let's just get a nice thin layer there in this around about the same size. And now we're going to throw in our salmon. Now the great thing about what I'm doing here is even if you don't have a smoker, no problem. You can keep this in the cure anywhere from 48 to 72 hours and just keep turning it every 12 hours or so, and you're going to have an amazing salt and sugar cured Gravlax. It's more of a Swedish dish, I think, but it's fantastic if you layer fresh dill over top of this. Get your cure on there, put on your fresh dill. Because we're smoking this today, I'm not going to put any dill on top. But go ahead, if you want to put any kind of seasoning or herbs that you want, the world's your oyster. Go ahead and do what you want. So we're just going to make sure this is all well covered. Oop, got some on the counter there. And this is going to go into the fridge for 24 hours. And once those 24 hours are up, we're going to take it out. We're going to rinse it off really, really well. You don't want to have any salt residue on there or anything like that. It'll just make it too salty. And then we'll get to the smoking. Now, something else about curing salmon like this, when people wrap it up, they like to put a weight on it. They seem to think that it helps draw out the moisture and improve the curing process. I'm not really sure if it helps or not, but in this case, I'm not going to do it today. So all we need to do now is get our plastic wrap, wrap her up, and give it some extra wrap because you don't want to wrap it tight across the casserole. You want to push that plastic wrap down around your salmon. Okay, that'll just help keep some of the air out and help improve the cure. So we just put it in like this. And now we're ready for the fridge. See you in 24 hours. Well, folks, it's been 24 hours. Why don't we go into the fridge and see what's been going on with our salmon? Wow. The first thing I notice is how much liquid this cure has drawn out of the salmon. This looks incredible. Let's get a closer look. All right, here's what it looks like 24 hours later. Let's get this wrap off and see what we've got inside. Wow, that is a lot of liquid, more than I expected. That's fantastic. So, what do you say we take this over to the sink and wash this bad boy off? All right, so here we are. We're gonna use some cold water. And I'm not gonna use a lot of pressure because I don't want the water to tear up the salmon. Now the next thing I notice is how firm it is. It's pretty much staying straight all on its own. So this tells me that the cure went really, really well. So let's just wash everything off. Now, while I'm washing this off, if you don't have a smoker, like I was saying earlier, no problem. You could have kept it in the cure, flipped it over, got rid of some of the liquid, and then thrown it back into the fridge for another 24 hours or so. And that would have given you that perfect Scandinavian Gravlax that people enjoy so much. So we're just gonna make sure we rinse this all off really, really nicely. And I'm not sure if you can tell in the camera, but the color is a lot darker now than it was when it first went into the fridge. So again, this is really turning out nice. I'm super happy. All right, so here we are back at the counter. And like I said, we're going to pat this completely dry with some paper towel. You may be also noticing that I've put this on some racks, and you might be wondering why. Well, now that we've cured it, it has to go back into the fridge again, this time uncovered for about 3 hours. And what that's going to do for us is it's going to allow this cured salmon to form a sticky layer, and that layer is called the pellicle. And what that pellicle is going to do, it's very, very necessary for the smoking process. What it does is it provides an adhesive layer, if you will, and it will allow that smoke that we're going to put all over this to stick onto the salmon. So this is why I have it in the racks, because I want the air to flow all around it, uncovered in the fridge for the next 3 hours. So we'll be back. Well, folks, here we are after 3 hours uncovered in the refrigerator. And I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but there's this shiny layer on the salmon now, and it's super sticky. And again, this is called the pellicle. And this is exactly what we were hoping to achieve. Now, when we put it in the smoker, that smoke is just going to attach itself and absorb right into this salmon. So we're doing good. Next step, smoker. All right, so here we are back at the smoker. If you can hear the wind, I apologize. It's getting a little windy out at the moment. Here we are after 3 hours, ready to go into the smoker. Again, like I said, it was a cold smoke. So what we're doing is we're generating smoke, but no heat. We don't want to cook the salmon, we just want to smoke it. We've already cured it. So here we go. And also, we're going to be putting it into the smoker for at least 8 hours. So get it in there.
Final step, finally.
Well, folks, we're finally here. It's been 8 hours in the smoke, and I can't wait to show you how this turned out. This looks fantastic. Let's take a closer look. Well, folks, the first thing you're going to notice, it is taken on this beautiful mahogany color, and that's from the smoke. And it is nice and firm, so let's cut into it. Now, I'm going to make a very thin slice. So, we do it like that. Oh, and look. I just want to show you the inside. That is just beautiful. And the odor, the smell is just fantastic. Let's take a taste. Okay. I can tell you that I have never tasted anything this good that came from a supermarket. You can buy frozen smoked salmon all you want, but this is the way to go. I have never tasted anything like that. Wow. And can you imagine? Slice this thinly, put it on a bagel with cream cheese. This would be amazing. Look at this. This is just fantastic. Honestly, I think this is one of my best smokes yet.
Well, folks, as you can see, it's getting late in the day, and I really appreciate you guys spending your time with me. If you have any comments, any suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you like this video, smash the like button. And if you want to see more videos in the future, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. As soon as I send out a video, you're gonna know. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and we'll see you next time.